Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. Please subscribe and hit the bell icon. Even before Bold and Beautiful brings back Thomas, it's finding a new way to diss him. All products and services featured are independently chosen by editors. However, soaps.com may receive a commission on orders placed through its retail links, and the retailer may receive certain auditable data for accounting purposes. Typically when someone is being hypocritical on Bold and Beautiful, it's Brooke, who loves to read the riot act to others whilst displaying zero self-awareness. See yesterday's rant at Zende. But this time it's someone else. And their statements are so offside that they may have lost all credibility. Not to mention that in writing this dialogue, the show has found a whole new way to diss Thomas, while he's still overseas. Thomas took off to work at Forrester International, the landing spot of choice for characters exiled, disgruntled or fed up, and by all accounts is living a grand old life with his young son Douglas by his side. We're sure Thomas is still licking his wounds after his breakup with Hope, but we're heartened to hear that he's not over there falling apart, as is sometimes the case. Back in Los Angeles, for the most part, it's been a case of out of sight, out of mind where Thomas has been concerned, with Ridge giving a brief update on his son and grandson, and Hope preoccupied with Deacon and Finn's Shyla drama. But even with Thomas on the other side of the world minding his business, Bold and Beautiful has managed to find a way to disrespect him, via some pretty insulting insinuations in their front-burner story. As fans well know, Shyla has been resurrected and not long after was elevated to near sainthood in the eyes of her biological son, Finn. Hopeful, not to mention deluded beyond all belief, the otherwise intelligent doctor actually stood in front of his wife, a woman whose family has been terrorized by Shyla for decades, a woman who was shot and left for dead by the madwoman, and proposed that she give his birth mother, him, a chance. Ridge predicted the good doctor would be in for a wake-up call, and that's exactly what he got, in the form of an ultimatum from his wife. It's me or Shyla. Finn, of course, chose his partner, but one could tell by the hangdog look on his face that it's not going to end there. But that's another story. What has our knickers in a knot is that Finn had the gall to stand in front of Steffi and tell her that Shyla had changed when he would never give her brother, whose transgressions were far fewer and far less sinister, the same benefit of the doubt. If you know both Thomas and Shyla's stories, you know there's no comparing them. Further, we can't believe Steffi didn't call her hubby out on it. In fact, if this was at all realistic, Hope would have called her new pal out on it too. We can still remember when Finn stood in his office and declared that he wasn't buying Thomas' redemption act. He was a bad person, and therefore couldn't possibly change or ever be good enough for Hope. Yet the notorious Shyla Carter is suddenly redeemed and a changed woman because she got chained up in a warehouse and supposedly uttered a sentence in an attempt to try and stop Sugar from going to Steffi's house. Supposedly being the key word, because we don't believe for a second that it actually happened, nor should Finn, who is in for another big shock. But John Finnegan has gone fully down that rabbit hole, and every time he insists that Shyla is reformed, we can't help but think how wildly hypocritical it is considering the stance he took on Thomas. So, when will Thomas return, perhaps to call Finn out on his own? There's no official air date yet, but Bold and Beautiful spoilers tell us his name will be back on the front burner later this week as Hope circles back to complaining about Steffi's role in his departure. In the soap opera world of the Bold and the Beautiful, drama often takes center stage, and characters are frequently subjected to twists, turns, and tumultuous relationships. One character who has endured his fair share of turmoil is Thomas Forrester, the handsome yet troubled son of Ridge Forrester. But even before the show decides to bring back Thomas, it seems to be finding a new way to diss him. Thomas Forrester was once a central figure in the Forrester family, his charm and good looks often masking the darkness within. His tumultuous history includes obsession, manipulation, and even endangering lives. Yet despite his flaws, he's managed to captivate audiences with his complex persona. However, as the plot unfolds, it becomes evident that the show's writers are keen on exploring new dimensions of Thomas's character. Rather than merely resurrecting him from the shadows, they're choosing to delve into his psyche, dissecting his motivations and vulnerabilities in a fresh and intriguing manner. The storyline takes a daring turn as Thomas finds himself ostracized by those closest to him. His family, once his staunch supporters, now view him with suspicion and distrust. Even his romantic interests recoil, hesitant to entangle themselves in his web of complications. Yet amidst the chaos, there's a glimmer of redemption. Thomas, grappling with his demons, embarks on a journey of self-discovery. He confronts his past misdeeds, acknowledging the pain he's caused and vowing to forge a new path forward. But redemption doesn't come easy. Thomas faces relentless scrutiny from both his loved ones and the public eye. Every step he takes toward redemption is met with skepticism and resistance. The scars of his past continue to haunt him, threatening to derail his newfound determination. As Thomas navigates this treacherous terrain, he finds an unexpected ally in Zoe Buckingham, a woman with her own troubled history. Together they form an unlikely bond, finding solace in each other's company amidst the chaos that surrounds them. But their burgeoning relationship is not without its challenges. Old wounds resurface and trust becomes a fragile commodity. Yet through it all, Thomas and Zoe find strength in each other, refusing to let the demons of their past dictate their future. Meanwhile, the Forrester family grapples with their own demons. Secrets long buried threaten to resurface, unraveling the fabric of their once united front. As alliances shift and loyalties are tested, the Forrester dynasty stands on the brink of collapse. In the midst of this turmoil, Thomas finds himself at a crossroads. Will he succumb to the darkness that threatens to consume him, or will he rise above it, emerging stronger and more resilient than ever before? The answer lies in the choices he makes and the relationships he cultivates along the way. For Thomas Forrester, redemption may be elusive, but it's not impossible, and as he embarks on this journey of self-discovery, he'll discover that sometimes the greatest battles are fought within. As The Bold and the Beautiful continues to captivate audiences with its riveting storyline, one thing remains certain. Even before the show brings back Thomas, it's finding a new way to diss him. But perhaps in the end, it's not about the dissension, but the journey toward redemption that truly matters.